So here's the deal. I got a big project that I'm working on right now, and I need to free up some funding. And one of these projects includes a new channel, completely different than this one. So I've decided that out of my collection, I need to thin something out. I have already selected which ones gotta go and are on the chopping block. Let's check them out. So during this process, there was a lot of different things that went through my mind, and it was like, what am I gonna be okay with not having? And a lot of it had to also do with what is replaceable, because I could have probably gone for some of the bigger pieces and just eliminated those. But that's kind of not what I wanted to do. I wanted to think of what watch can I not miss at all? Like if I didn't have this watch, would I miss it? And this is a couple of them right now that are already on the chopping block. We got here 2 different Pepsis, a no date sub, and a Batman. So the first watch is gonna be a Rolex Sea-Dweller 1665. And that's actually the first vintage Sea-Dweller that I bought, and I couldn't help to buy it because a friend of mine brought it, had it already serviced from Rolex, had the service card, literally had just come out of service, and it just looked so nice, and the price was good, and sure enough, I actually sold it. That's the first one I sold it, and I pretty much got for it exactly what I paid for it, so I'm happy. It was a good watch. I never really got to wear it though, because it had just been polished. It was all done by Rolex with the factory stickers and all that. And I just never wore it. So, you know, it was kind of time to move on, because I do have 2 other pieces here which I love, 2 other Sea-Dwellers, one being a great white, another one being a double red. And I do wear those a lot more. So I thought that's an easy one to part ways with. And luckily, it's already gone. Guy bought it. He even quoted, "I will die with this watch in my collection." That's how much he loved it. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is gonna be this 5513 no date sub. This is a 1979. It's a good looking watch. Overall condition is good. And I bought this watch by chance. Somebody came by one day to my store and offered it to me. And at that point, I didn't have a single no date sub in my collection. So I thought, hey, why not? Because remember, I'm on that quest to have 100 subs by 50. I'm 42, so I still got 8 years. I'm on the right track. But I said, well, you know what? Let's just add a no date sub. The crazy part about it is, all this time that I've owned this watch, it kind of had a scratched up crystal. And now that I'm gonna sell it, I put a new crystal, and I almost put it back into the collection. But again, I think this is another watch that I can replace. Plus I have 3 other no date subs that I just feel that I wear more and I enjoy more, okay? It's not that I don't love this watch. There's a reason why I've had it so long, but I just figured something's gotta go so I can make this move that's coming. So to fund this project, this one's gonna be pretty much under 9K. Now the next one is an interesting one because I've had this watch for almost 10 years at this point. This is a watch that I actually did a video with in my previous channel where I said that I wanted a 1967 and it appeared, and it's exactly 1967 like my blue 1967 Chevelle. This watch I actually got when I worked out a deal with my dad's previous boss. I actually sold him a Patek and took this on trade. And I marked this as my first vintage watch ever. What makes this watch unique is that it's 1967 and it's a 1675. And what happens is sometimes people want watches that are this old, but either the condition is terrible or they're so good that the prices are way too high. Now, the good thing about this one is that the price is good. It's not too crazy. Something like this, you're gonna be bouncing around the area of 13-ish, around there. We'll call it low teens. Compared to some of the other ones, which are gonna cost you over 20K, this is something you can buy. It's vintage and you can wear it. And I love this watch, especially the fact that it had that engraving in the back where it said in Spanish, February 1970, and it's got a man's name back there. It was given as a gift to somebody. I never polished the watch and I decided to leave it like that because personally, I kind of like that character. Now, before I go to the next one, I want to just say that the first 3, including the one that I already sold, are a little bit more difficult to replace because they have a lot more character and they're older watches. This particular one that I have right here was the only 16700 in my collection. I have several GMTs that I'm hoarding, and this is the only one I had of that reference number. And the only reason I bought this watch is because I went to my buddy's office, that he's a wholesaler. First thing I realized about the watch is I said, oh my God, I don't have a 16700. Another thing is that a lot of these watches with this reference number, the dial tends to get like a spider crack effect. Some people don't like that. I think it gives character. And when I saw that, I said, wow, the dial is really why I bought it, because it's very faint. It's not enough for somebody to look at the dial and then be like, whoa, what's wrong with that dial? It's something you gotta really look at. Seeing it on somebody else's wrist will not be enough. You have to kind of really look at it in the light and realize that the dial is starting to spider crack. And since I did not have a 16700 in my collection, I bought it. Had box and papers. I think it's a good deal. And I'm gonna be selling this one again in the low teens. Not a lot of money there. And I think that it's a lot of watch for the money. Now, the last one is a crowd favorite, and I say that because these watches sell a lot and people love them. And what is there not to like about it? It is a Batman GMT. This is the first reference, 16710. And before everybody starts freaking out and saying that I'm contradicting myself, yes, I sold my original one. This is not the one. Well, I didn't really sell it. I traded it. What happens is, I did a video a couple videos ago where I traded it for this watch right here. I told myself I wasn't gonna buy any more watches this year. Guy came in, offered me to trade, and I did the deal. Then shortly after that, another friend of mine, long-term client from out of the country, comes in one day and says, you know what, Eric? I don't want this watch anymore. I wanna sell it. And then I thought to myself, maybe I should buy it to replace it. And yes, I broke my rule this year. I wasn't supposed to buy any watches, but yes, I rebought it. The crazy part is that I've had it for already about a month and I haven't worn it, not once. And then I thought about it and I said, look, this is an easy sale. People look for this watch, people want it. And this is something I can replace. So I felt that out of the ones that I sold, these two are the easiest to replace. And it's kind of hard decisions I had to make. So that's why I decided to go then with these other three that are a little bit harder to replace, especially this one with so much character and history. My first vintage watch, traded in a deal with my dad's old boss, all that. But these are the ones that I have right now ready, and each one of these watches, you know, were an experience and I had a journey to obtain them. It wasn't just like I went and just bought them. Each one of these have a cool different story of how I acquired them. And I think that once I sell them, I'll be able to put them into a whole nother experience, which will also be a cool story. So if any of these watches interest you, go ahead and hit me up. All the info's there if you want to buy any of these. But yeah, pretty much it was a tough decision. These are the ones that are going. And then I still have on the back burner a possibility that I may sell one of my Kermits. I own 4 of them. And depending on how this project goes, which I will tell you everything about it really soon, trust me, it's going to be great. I decided that maybe one of those Kermits might go as well. Comment below what you think is gonna be my next move after I sell these watches. And if you like this video, like and share it. Also subscribe to this YouTube channel.